Ciso. Oh, it's fabulous! A strike to get you up off your seats.
Hello, welcome to Seagulls Social Season 4 episode. It could be literally any episode as far as Ben's concerned. It could be episode 12, as I think it is, or it could be episode 15. Ben has absolutely no idea what time of the day it is at the minute, and I think it's brilliant. This is the sort of content that people subscribe to Seagulls Social for. If you've watched us for the past 3 years, you'll know that Ben likes going out for a drink. However, you probably haven't seen him quite in a state like he is this morning. This is brilliant stuff. I mean, we are about 30 minutes late, and it's like Southern Rail. I mean, Ben, how are you, mate? Are you feeling all right?
The only positive is that we won. Oh, and also Ryan's got a new mic, so he probably sounds a little bit better.
And I've got a new mic.
I am in such a bad state. It's
Ben, what happened last night? You need to tell us. Tell the viewers. Yeah.
It's at 10:40 now. I got back at 4 a.m. And that's all there is to it, really. Yes.
Why were you back at 4 a.m.
so
though, Ben? What was going on?
To be fair, bumped into some Ajax fans at the Fiddler's Elbow in Brighton. If you know, you know. Shout out the Fiddler's Elbow. It's one of the few pubs that stays open really late. Same as Molly Malone's, but did not want to go there and get a disease. So, yeah, bumped into some Ajax fans, which was quite fun. They were pretty cool, pretty sound. They were just disappointed with their season and how shambolic their club is. And to be fair, I agree with them. They were absolutely abysmal yesterday. People saying they're worse than Luton, which is insane.
True. I would go as far to say that they are. I think that the of all the teams to come to the Ajax this season, they are by far the worst. By far the worst team that I've seen coming to the Ajax this season. And I'm so surprised. I mean, I knew that people said that they're not very good, but that was some performance from Ajax. I mean, it was shocking. But at the same time, to put it on a positive spinner, because we have just won our first ever European game. First ever European win.
Doesn't feel like
Never in a million years. Never in a million years did we think that we'd be saying that in 2023 Brighton would be winning games against Ajax at home at the Amex for the Europa League. It's actually mind-blowing when you put it like that. But let's get into the game a little bit, Ben, if you don't mind. I mean, look,
I'll try and remember it.
First half we had a few chances. We really dominated possession yesterday. I think it's going to be one where, obviously a lot of fans, I don't know around you, Ben, if you remember, but around me, a lot of fans were, I don't want to say negative, but they were completely negative. Like, even at 2-0 up, like, they were saying that, we need to go forward more, we need to pass it more, we need to go do this more. I was thinking, this is probably one of the best professional performances that we've done under Zerbi. Just that job of just getting the job done, if you like, and seeing the game out, killing the game dead. All of those old cliches is exactly what we did yesterday. I don't know about you, Ben, but that first half was pleasantly surprising. It's a good job we went in 1-0 up, I think, because it just helped the cause. I think we just needed that confidence boost.
100%. Yeah, that goal for the first half was so crucial. Even if it was a shoddy goal like it was, a goal's a goal and we need every single one. At least it wasn't a penalty, because most of our goals in Europe have been penalties, really, from Joao Pedro. Going 1-0 up was so huge. I feel like we might have had to maybe chase the game in the second half if we hadn't done that, chasing the goal, and maybe Ajax would have sat back a bit more and found it a bit harder to actually get the win. But yeah, I'd definitely say that's crucial. And I think I wouldn't say people were frustrated, because again, we were 2-0 up against Ajax and we needed those 3 points. However, we won. But Ajax was so shocking, and it felt like the last half an hour we were just passing it around the back the whole game. Didn't really take the game to them, really. That's what it felt like anyway, just passing around the back and just waiting for the final whistle to go. They might as well have killed the game at 60th minute and just gone, right, let's go home, or let's go to the pub. They probably should have done that, but yeah, that's what it felt like. Ajax gave up. They had nothing. They gave absolutely nothing to that game.
Yeah, I agree. There was nothing from them, and I think that it was a good job done by us in the sense of that passing around, that sort of just killing it off, giving them no hope, wasn't it? Really, it's when we used to play against City. like years and years ago when we first got promoted, or whenever we played a bigger side, to be fair. And it's that feeling of every pass, it's just another draining pass because you've got to go chase it again when you know you're not going to get even a touch of the ball. I mean, it was Brighton at their best for a large portion of it, but it was also just that feeling. There's a mixture, isn't there? There's a fine line between really, really bad performance and totally different class. I would say that it wasn't even close in terms of quality. No. There was really, I mean, if I was to go through and say anything that Ajax did last night, apart from smashing up Brighton Station, and actually, to be fair to their credit, pretty decent fans, apart from the ones that caused a bit of fights. That's what the media will show you versus what the actual people are like.
Yeah, I heard some people, someone that I know was like chased onto a train as well by the Ajax fans. And then in the stadium, they weren't too noisy. There was a few of them that were quite noisy. And then apparently at the end, really. they were like really pissed off with the team, and they were calling them over, being like, come on, let's have a chat. Because we've seen it recently where like Union Berlin, more recently this week, their fans had a go at them because they've lost like 9 in a row or haven't won in 9. And then remember AC Milan last season where their ultras were like having a go at all the players on the pitch. So it happens. Ajax thought they were going to do it as well, but I don't think the Ajax players wanted to have any of that really. Honestly, they were so bad, and it was a bit of an anticlimax, wasn't it, really, last night? Because 3 points is a very, very good thing, and I think it felt like an anticlimax just because of how poor they were. They didn't really show up and make it a game. We just scored 2 goals, and we're like, right, cool, cheers for the 3 points, on to the next one. It just felt like that, really. Yeah, I'm not complaining because we got 3 points. I suppose, like we said before the game, it was a must-win. I would happily have taken the 3 points anyway, but I thought it would be a bit more exciting from my point of view.
I don't really know what I expected, because obviously, as I say, you hear so much, don't you, when people say that, so-and-so is on bad form, they haven't really got a good enough side. You sort of hear those things, but you never really quite know what they're going to be like. Ben's gone. I'll just do the podcast on my own, actually. I think that's probably the better option. So yeah, I'm gonna go through a couple of players. I'm gonna go through a couple of players. I want to just say, Lewis Dunk, that header, if you know what one I'm on about, where it sort of loops up into the air, and Lewis Dunk just sort of heads it back to the goalkeeper, and it was such a minimal thing.
Oh yeah.
But it was so class, and it was just, I was a little bit worried going into the game. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't quite convinced that, despite what everyone was saying about Ajax, I still thought, it's still Ajax, we're still Brighton. You know what we're like. We always, bottle these sort of occasions. As soon as Dunk did that, I just thought, yeah, that's if he's okay, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Do you agree with me?
100%. Yeah, I think that was the first half, wasn't it, when that happened, right? Yeah. He was unbelievable. As always. I'm trying to think who else no one really had a poor game as well, obviously, because Ajax was so abysmal.
Yes.
Yeah, there's not really much to say on the player performances. I can't really think there wasn't really a standout. James Milner lasted long, which was incredible. I know we were quite annoyed when we saw that he was starting. Yeah, he was, but he also had no one to defend, so that probably helped. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not a James Milner hater. I don't want to be that guy. But people were saying James Milner played well. Yeah, he did, but I mean, he was playing against no one really. No one was really causing him any trouble to
kind of
test it. Or no one was testing it really. But he was good, obviously, going forward. He was good.
Yeah, quite a few good challenges as well. The typical sort of last Milner challenges. I love them. And that's good. That's what you need. I think Milner on the right, I don't know why we tried it, because it was so obvious it wasn't working. On Milner on the left, on the other hand, he has done it for Liverpool before. And if that is a position he can fill, at least until Purvis is back, then so be it. That's not as bad as what sort of it was the other day. I thought Milner actually had a great game. I thought it was good for him.
It is bad because...
Go on, why?
If that was a good footballer that he was up against, then we probably would have seen him in trouble. I know that's harsh to say, but I mean, just from what we've seen this season, every time he's had someone run at him that has a little bit of pace, if we're talking FIFA, a bloke that's got 40 pace is going to beat James Milner to a sprint, if we're talking in FIFA terms. And yesterday, he had no one. It was basically like some random bloke was on the pitch that he was having to mark. Again, I don't want to sound like James Milner. Hey, I'm not. I think he's a very good player. What an unbelievable career he's had. But just to stress the point,
this is like taking the mood down, Ben. Taking the mood down.
Yeah, no, we should. Obviously, we'll go back to positive afterwards. But yeah, he's 38 years old. He should not be playing fullback, and that's not his fault. That's obviously the club's fault for not having the depth there to, have an actual left back or right back playing there.
No, I take your point. I think it's definitely worth noting, though, the attack force. Simon Adingra was very sharp. He's so quick off the mark, Adingra. It's almost like having another Tariq Lamptey, but as a forward, and that actually has like a decent amount of end product as well. He's so sharp, really, really quick. Always seems to get past his man. Decent skill range as well. Like, we haven't really had a skillster for a while, have we? But he likes to take players on. Loves a good little chop back inside. And that got us onto that second goal, didn't it? Obviously, it sort of came from him and Gilmore, who again was very, very good. Billy Gilmore, pulling the strings in that midfield before Baleba came on. And yeah,
right, I saw someone's comment last week on our Ajax preview. It was like, I don't think there's one Brighton fan that rates Billy Gilmore as highly as Ryan Adset. That was very true. I think some fans do love him, but you are his number one fan, and obviously I can see why, because he is very classy.
And this was, people used to say the same to me about Dale Stevens. People used to say the same to me about Steven Alzate. Midfielders, people just don't give enough credit to. Like, they will just see, and it speaks to the volume of the people that are around you at games after time, because they just start shouting, saying sideways, backwards, sideways, backwards. You just don't understand football if that's how you view centre midfielders. You need to, especially in De Zerbi's philosophy, if you've got midfielders that are willing to receive the ball from pretty much anywhere, on the turn, up against pressure, in between spaces, breaking lines, perfect. If they can then play that ball backwards, sideways, or forwards, or turn with the ball, perfect. So how people can't rate Gilmore as highly as I do, if that's what you say, I would say that's insane. And I don't know, maybe people just don't see it like I do. Maybe I'm a vision. No, I'm joking, but I just find that odd. The same applies to sort of Dale Stevens when we had him on a much lower quality. Don't get me wrong, I love Dale, but obviously he's not the level that we're at now.
Don't remember he pocketed Paul Pogba. Do you remember?
Yeah,
Dale Stevens
for us though. He was brilliant and carried us through the championship. Without him, we probably wouldn't have got promoted. The record without him, if you remember, was awful. And people then called him Mr. Boring sort of thing. Milner got the similar treatment when he was at City, when he was at Liverpool. It was always, Mr. Boring. They called him like Ribena and all that, didn't they? So Boring James Milner. So, but without those sort of players, you can't have a winning team. That's literally the basics of what you need. I wouldn't even say Gilmore's that boring, to be honest. I would say he's probably a bit more
not at all.
Flary than a lot of others. But yeah, I would find that odd if you don't rate Billy Gilmore. I think if you don't rate Billy Gilmore, you don't understand football. Do you remember that quote that Graham Potter said back in for Dan Burn? He said, if you don't rate Dan Burn, you don't understand football. And it's a very similar thing.
I think Brighton fans definitely do rate Billy Gilmore for sure. And as the weeks go on, I think people will probably be on your wavelength of, because I remember you said you see him as a future captain. I think maybe as weeks go on, people are kind of understanding that and seeing that there is that leader, and he is so vital to our team when he does play. The thing is,
I'll say that now, but I'm talking if he stuck around for 6 years. Like, I'm not talking in the next 2 years he's going to be captain. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't put it past the guy, because he seems very,
who do you reckon would be when Dunk, God forbid, Dunk does retire? Who would be the captain in the squad right now? I guess Gross, maybe? Would you give it to Gross?
In the squad right now?
Yeah.
I'd give it to Gross, possibly. Jason Steele, probably not.
No, thanks.
Who else have you got in there that's sort of established? Veltman, maybe. You could maybe give it to
speaking
Veltman,
of Jason Steele,
he's a similar age to Dunk.
We kept a clean sheet. We kept a clean sheet.
We did, yeah.
Unbelievable.
First clean sheet in May, am I right in saying? The Emirates?
Yeah, like 15 games or something like that, which is insane. What an awful run. Yeah, we actually kept a clean sheet. That's incredible. That is nuts. Good for us.
No,
look at us go.
We did keep a clean sheet. This is what I'm saying. So this is what I'm trying to say. These sort of games, right? You need to kill the game dead. And the way we killed the game dead was perfect in-game management. Yeah, you can't just kill a game dead by not making the right decisions from the manager and from the players. The way that it was all the way from the beginning was pretty much, especially that second half, I say, since that Fati goal, which goes down as probably one of my favourite goals. I love the way that Ansu Fati strikes the ball. I think it's so Barcelona. And I don't know if you remember when Lionel Messi used to score so many goals for Barca, and so many of them, whenever he scored like
if you remember when Messi
he scored against
goals.
Yeah, obviously.
Which one?
Do you remember the hat-trick he got against City in the Champions League a long time?
Oh, when he sat James Milner on his arse.
17? It might have been Milner, actually.
Yeah,
And
funny,
all of them were
That's
like
quite
little
iconic.
just taps in, weren't they? Like sort of lob the goalkeeper, little chips, little touches. That's exactly what Fati has when he scores. That one at City, he hasn't blasted it, he sort of just placed it in, but it's just enough to just roll past the keeper. And again, yesterday, the way that first little touch past the keeper, mate, I've wanted to see someone like that at Brighton for so long. So even if it's one season, it's just like, it's perfect football, isn't it?
I did have a bit of a pinch me moment when I was watching the game. I was like, we're playing Ajax, and I was just seeing Ansu Fati try and chase someone, I was pressing someone. I was like, I know we say it every podcast, it might be boring, but like how far we've come is just nuts. Beating Ajax 2-0.
Yeah.
A Barcelona number 10 playing for Brighton Hove Albion, scoring a goal. It's just it is nuts when you look at it in that perspective. But yeah, I did have a little bit of a pinch me moment yesterday.
What do you make of Ansu Fati, Ben? Because obviously the first sort of half hour, maybe you could say he wasn't quite in the game. I thought the last the last 10-15 minutes of the first half was good. And then the second half, I thought he was good again. Obviously got his goal. Had a good cameo against City. For you, how's Ansu Fati ranking in sort of your estimation so far?
I hope this doesn't sound stupid, but it probably will. If he didn't score against City and didn't score against Ajax, I think people would say he's been pretty poor. But even though he has scored, he still hasn't like set the world alight, if that makes sense. He still hasn't had like a, oh my God, what performance, which we're kind of waiting for and expecting. And I guess that is just the expectation you have when you sign someone from Barcelona who's the number 10, who took a shirt off Messi. Like, you're expecting him to set the world alight and have these unbelievable individual performances,
but then
which he
equally, it's a player
he hasn't had.
Yeah, and also he's had a huge injury, lost all his confidence in football. It's quite well documented, wasn't it, that he's like literally hit the bottom of the barrel sort of with confidence. So it's been a case of basically rebuilding Ansu Fati. It's not the Ansu Fati that was.
There's also, our team isn't a team of individuals like some football clubs. Like, we're very, very much a team full of players that work for the team. It's not like it's not like, right, it's the Ansu Fati show, give him the ball all the time. You don't have those kind of standouts maybe as you would in some other teams. So he's playing for everyone else, not just himself. So maybe that's why his performances might go unseen as well, potentially. He's not like a selfish player in that respect.
Yeah, no, I agree. Joao Pedro as well obviously got on the score sheet in the first half. Had a couple of chances beforehand. I think he had one where he sort of broke through. Could have scored. I probably wouldn't have expected him to score. A goal would have been nice from there, but I think it was a bit of a tight angle. Obviously, his finish came from a rebound from, I think it was Ansu Fati had the shot actually. And then he sort of followed it in. Mitoma or Fati, it was one of the two. By the way, can I just say before I make my point on Joao Pedro, that front four, if we can get them all working, Mitoma, Joao Pedro, Ansu Fati, and Simon Adingra, is a mad front four. I mean, think about it for a minute. That's the Brighton Hove Albion front four. That's insane. If we can get all of them working,
my only issue is there's no striker there. There's no actual striker, is there? I don't think.
No, but then you don't need it. Well, we've got Evan Ferguson then, if you wanted to go like that. To be fair. Who again is such a good centre forward. I do probably agree that maybe in depth we could do, if it's a case of Fati's not scoring, Pedro's not scoring, and Evan Ferguson, as we know, gets quite injured regularly, then maybe it's a case for, I think there was a Giassi or something like that, wasn't it, that we were linked to a while ago. Now it's got a release clause or something, which Fabrizio put out.
Stuttgart guy?
So I wouldn't be too surprised to see if we went for him. Yeah, is he Stuttgart? I think he's German somewhere.
He's got
something like that. He scored a few goals.
12 goals in 9 games. Yeah. He's also 27. He's not like a
Okay.
youngster, so he screams like a Palace signing or a West Ham signing. That bloke. I think.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I don't think.
But sometimes you need
he's
signings
been
like that,
incredible.
you know.
I know, but I feel like he's one of them players that, you know, he's doing unbelievable this season. I think he only scored 10 goals last season. He signs for West Ham in January and then he never scores a goal again. I feel like he's probably going to be one of them players.
The amount of times they've done that is actually mental. To be
Yeah.
fair. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, Joao Pedro obviously got his goal. I think you could tell by his celebration, apart from the weird sort of whatever he's doing with his face, I don't even know. I don't know if you've seen those photos of Pedro and his face or going like that. Yeah, fairs. But
yeah,
he's needed that, hasn't he? He hasn't had really many goals from. I think it's only his second from open play. He scored a lot of penalties in that, but he's obviously got it about him. He's very good in the dribble. He's very good coming forward. Clearly very, very good sort of mentality-wise, scoring the penalties that he has done. Ben, what do you assess of Joao Pedro, not just as a goal scorer, but sort of as a player? And I'm going to ask you and press you while you're munching.
So yeah, I just had a bite of flapjack. What do I think of Joao Pedro? Sorry, let me quickly finish.
Maz is watching this. He's going to be so.
What the hell are you boys
He's
doing?
be looking at the camera like, what is going on?
I think maybe he's been underwhelming. Would that be fair? Joao Pedro? Yes, he scored an unbelievable and important goal against Marseille. I say unbelievable. Maybe just in the moment was unbelievable. Scored a penalty against Marseille. Brilliant. Scored 2 pens against Athens. Brilliant. Has he scored a good goal for us? I'm trying to run my mind back. I can't think of one. Maybe he hasn't. I'm missing it.
What do you define as good goal, though?
Not from the penalty spot. From the 6-yard box. I don't know. No, I guess, I don't know. I just think maybe his start has been underwhelming. That might be unfair to say, but that's how I feel at this moment in time. Anyway, we spent a bit of money on the kid. And I think if you say he's delivered from the penalty spot, which is true, he has delivered in that sense. But I just think maybe in his performances, he hasn't, similar to Ansu Fati, maybe hasn't had that. He hasn't had that, wow, we've got a Joao Pedro moment or performance yet. Again, could be wrong.
Do you remember I said on the podcast a couple of times ago where I said it's all just a bit of a work in progress at Brighton? And someone made a good point in my Twitter, actually, and they said that you'll notice a lot of like partnerships starting to form. Obviously, we know that we all want Gilmour and Baleba to start together, but we know that also Gilmour and Gross actually work very well together. You've then got Van Hecker and Dunk now starting to sort of link up a little bit, you know. And obviously Fati and Joao Pedro are obviously two players that De Zerbi clearly from the start has wanted to be like a partnership. Then you've got Adingra and Mitoma on either side, very, very, very capable. So do you think it's just a case of time with Pedro, with Fati? I'm not saying Fati is going to stay here past this year, but say in an imaginary world he did, and you had him and Pedro sort of as a link-up duo, it would just be one of them that just takes that time, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh, that's true, because we've been complaining in the past few episodes where we haven't had that consistency with any of the players. So, like, if you play Football Manager, you understand that when you play a certain amount of players together, you end up getting the green links. Football Manager. So,
Football Manager.
In that sense, in real life, it's true.
But yes, it's true.
If you're not playing consistent with someone, you're never going to form that bond, and you're never going to get that. You're never going to get that that level of chemistry with them, because you're just constantly changing. And then next week you've got Igor next year instead of Van Heck, or next week Gilmour's not in the team. You've got Dahoud playing. It's never gonna. You're never gonna get that form if you're constantly chopping and changing. And we've seen that because we have had some poor results because of this constant changing. So I think it's only going to benefit us if we do stick to the same spine, which we've been asking for, haven't we? Really. We want that. At least I'm happy to swap the midfielders around, whatever. But I think the key for us is having Dunk playing next to someone consistently. Whether that's Van Heck, probably I'd rather have Van Heck starting really over Igor.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the question. Is it Van Heck or Igor to you?
Yeah, Van Heck for sure. Also, some Ajax fans laughed at me when I called him JP Van Heck. They were like laughing because we call him JP, but that's how it is. It's also his Instagram username, so I don't know why they were laughing, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think
like
everyone calls him JP, don't they? Like the club called him JP. Obviously, Roberto calls him JP. So clearly, it's a name. I don't know. I wouldn't. maybe we're overdoing it. I'm gonna just send a voice message here that Maz has given us very kindly. Oh, yeah. He's on his way to Birmingham this morning, so he left nice and early from the station. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna.
Gives me time. What is it? 59 seconds. Yeah, it is 59 seconds. Gives me time to gives me something flapjack.
Unbelievable night last night. It was great.
Yeah, you fully interrupted the entire thing there, Ben. So anyone that was listening to that now is a collision of audio. Right.
All right.
From now on, Maz. Again, we haven't listened to this, so we don't actually know what it's going to be.
Firstly, apologies for the audio. I'm on a train, but. Unbelievable night last night. It was great to see our first ever win in European football, so up the Albion. However, we've got to talk about Ajax. They were absolute shambles. You can tell they're low on confidence, got nothing about them going forward. Defensively, they look a bit better than I think they have in previous games, but yeah, they were poor last night. Even the atmosphere from the Ajax fans was dim and didn't bring anything to sort of up their team. But yeah, no, and to talk about Brighton, we were brilliant. I thought we done really well on the attack, looked a bit more fluid. I really like Ansu, Fati in the 10. And yeah, we just looked so much better. Hopefully now we can get a bit of consistency, a little bit more fight and going forward, and a bit more consistency both on form and also from Robert De Zerbi's team selection as well. So hopefully we can get a bit more consistency and yeah, just keep smashing it up the Albion.
Cool.
Interesting, because we just said that, didn't we?
I agree with some of his points.
Said about consistency.
Yeah. I mean, we said about the fact of also Ajax, but I think it's worth noting about what he said. Yeah, about that consistency, because yeah, it's definitely needed. We've had a bit of a rough patch, haven't we? And I think that's why I was so happy with how we killed the game off yesterday. As I said, it probably sounds so boring, but it's been so necessary to just get that clean sheet. And to just get that win, and play the way that we know we can, knocking the ball around, holding the ball at the back, inviting pressure. Not that there was too much of it, but that's what we want. And I think that's what definitely is going to help us out going into Fulham, because, Fulham, notoriously, we don't beat them. I know this isn't a Fulham preview, although it probably could be, to be fair, because we haven't got very long until we play them. We've only got a turnaround of a day, haven't we? Should we just do it in one video, or do you want to do it in two? It's up to you.
Do I have the effort? We can probably do it here, can't we? No, we can do it here. We can do like a 10-minute preview.
Let's do it now.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I think, unless there's anything more to talk about Ajax.
There is, but I mean, it's helping my point that I was on about. I mean, the fact that we were very good going into this Fulham game. It's very helpful, I think, and that's why I was sort of putting that link in there, because we don't beat Fulham. We know that. They're a bit of a bogey team. It gives you that little bit more confidence that I think everybody's needed. As I say, Lewis Dunk, Roberto De Zerbi all come out in the media and said that we're in a weird patch of form that no one can quite put their finger on. I think it's kind of obvious in terms of what we've lost in the summer. Then, it's obviously been a bit of a strange moment to try and recover from that. We haven't really placed, have we? It's all been a bit difficult. We've been playing more games. Players are under more pressure. De Zerbi said in the presser last week that obviously the players are working harder than they did last season because of the amount of games that they've got, because of the amount of expectation that's gone up. And rightly as well, by the way, the expectations has gone up because, the club set a higher precedent. And against Fulham, Ben, I'm not going to ask you directly for your prediction, but do you think it's enough to give us that confidence going into a Premier League game on Sunday? Because it's only a couple of days away.
Yeah, I think it will. And also, Jason Steele will be absolutely buzzing that he finally got a clean sheet, bless him. So that'll be positive. But then again, does that even matter? Because will it be Verbruggen playing? Maybe it matters for the defence as well. That's a positive, because I'd like to think most of that defence will start against Fulham. Whether they do or not, who bloody knows?
Veltman has to start every week. It's as simple as that.
He does.
Veltman has to start every week until he gets injured.
Yeah, no, he absolutely does. I absolutely love Veltman. He's class. Like we say every week, like he's your guaranteed 7 out of 10. And he's probably one of our only right backs really as well, which is probably why we need him to play, because no one wants James Milner at right back again. So I think in that sense, yes, Veltman has to start. Will he play Van Heck again? Maybe not. Maybe he brings Igor in just to rest his legs, just to rest Van Heck's legs. But I'd like to think that Lewis Dunk's obviously going to start. That's the main one. You'd expect Evan Ferguson maybe to start. Had a few minutes against Ajax last night.
Ferguson's been in strange form, hasn't he, since his illness, you would call it. He's not really come back, has he? I think he was quite. He's normally good at holding the ball up, and I don't want to call him weak because he's certainly not weak, but he's definitely getting shrugged off the ball a bit more than probably he would have done before. So probably that's one thing that he'll look at and think, okay, well, to get himself goals again, he's got to start putting.
Sorry, I was absolutely creasing
and then doing it again.
You calling him weak? That's so funny.
No, that's what I mean. He's certainly not weak. So that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's weird because he was almost getting shrugged off it a little bit more. So when he came back into that side, I just thought it's not quite the Ferguson that we're used to, if you like. That's what I'd call it. So yeah, I didn't want to use the term weak because it's a very, very, very harsh word. I think going into that Sunday game, whether it's Joao Pedro, whether it's Ferguson, I'd probably keep Joao Pedro personally because I just think, as we say, if we want to start these partnerships forming, the only way to do it is to play. Actually, worth mentioning, Facundo Buonanotte, I thought actually his first signs coming on, I was happy. Mate, you don't do... He had a few turns, few touches, way, way better than we've seen Facundo so far. 100% better than we've seen Facundo so far. You can see it. The way that he was turning is better. Before, he would turn and he wouldn't really know what to do with it. This time he was going forward, tried a couple of nutmegs. I think he won a couple of corners going forward. That's what you want, I think.
No, to be fair, I'll cut him some slack. I think, I can see the signs of a player there for sure. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, he is 18 years old. He can only just have a drink, which is quite mad, I think. But yeah, he does. Yeah, he's getting involved in the game a lot more, which I think we never used to really see from him, did we? And yeah, he would kind of go missing. He was always
on the wing, wasn't he? And wrongly, he should never have been a winger.
Yeah, I guess that's just, we have so many good players. It's hard for him to get game time. And obviously, I think we even tried to get him out on loan, didn't we? In the summer, Zerbi even said it in one of his press conferences. He was like, he needs to get some games under his belt, a bit like Sarmiento. Like, we need to see Sarmiento play 38 games this season. I think we need to see Facundo get some minutes to actually understand him a bit better and see the player and potential that is there, because Tevez said that he was like the next coming of Messi, didn't he? And we haven't really seen that yet, obviously.
Yeah.
Because the levels of the Premier League and that is a lot different to the Argentinian league, with no disrespect, but I think, I agree with you. There was definitely some glimpses of a player there, and he, in his short cameo, he showed a little bit. He definitely got himself in the game and involved.
Yeah, I agree. I just think if he plays in that sort of central role, he's obviously got quite a bit to learn off, to be fair. He's got the likes of Ansu Fati around him now, Pascal Gross as well. So he's in good company in midfield. And especially going forward, we've got, as I say, Matoma, who I thought was actually very good yesterday. Adingra, who I thought was very good yesterday. We've got a good attack force. We know that. This is the thing. We're so unbalanced as a side. We've got such good attack. That's why I'm so satisfied with how we played sort of that boring football at times. Not boring at all to me, but boring to probably a neutral. If you're watching that game, you probably wouldn't have watched it properly. But I think when I was watching, I was just thinking, this is perfect. This is exactly what we need to do. Just kill the game, because we don't do that. And that's part of the reason why I'm sort of got that more confidence for Fulham is, if we can start to do that, whether Verbruggen or Steele, personally, just looking at the only thing on Steele, is that near post thing. He had one actually yesterday where they hit the post from a near post, shot. And
they hit the post.
That's it. I don't. Yeah, they cut in, hit the left foot. I can't remember what it was because they don't put the names on the stadium, do they, for the Europa? So it confuses the life out of me.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
But yeah,
when did they hit the post? Was that second half?
Second.
God, I don't remember that. Bloody hell.
Number 39. Who's number 39? I don't even know. It's like going back to the Championship, isn't it? You don't actually know who they are. You're just like number
39.
Yeah. Anyway, whoever it was, he cut inside, hit it left-footed, it hit the post. And it was that near post that Jason Steele notoriously isn't the best at. And I don't know why, because it was a bit like Matty Ryan, wasn't it? Matty Ryan was really, really suspect at his near post. And that's probably one thing that you would say Verbruggen would definitely be able to do better. So for that reason alone, I mean, I'd probably be on Team Verbruggen ahead of Fulham, and just give him that run of games that I think he needs. But again, is he just too young, or is he just being being made ready for that first team? I don't know.
Yeah, I'd give Verbruggen a go, because we need him to shake off the kind of shaky start that he's had for us, really. You know, like I said earlier, the clean sheet's probably done Jason Steele's confidence the world of good. I'd like to give Verbruggen that chance to also get a clean sheet and turn it around for him, because let's be real here, it hasn't been the best of starts for either keeper this season. They've had so many mistakes in them, whether it be passing out from the back or just poor saves from Jason Steele. So yeah, maybe give Verbruggen a shot against Fulham.
Yeah, no, I agree. It'll be an interesting game, to be honest, because look, at the end of the day, I know that we're on a very lethargic podcast, so it's a bit of a one-sided thing. So Ben's making my job very, very difficult today. So
yeah,
I'm
so sorry. It's an apology to everyone listening.
I may as well be doing this on my own. Like it's
you
difficult.
might as well be.
It is not very easy.
I think you'd be good at it, just doing a solo one, to be honest. I genuinely think you could probably do it.
Yeah, so do I, to be fair. I mean, I actually think I backed myself on that one. Did YouTube videos for a bit, didn't I? So I think I'll be all right. But I'm off to the press conference very soon, Ben. What would you ask Roberto De Zerbi on the back of last night?
What drink did he have after the game?
God's sake. This is the thing, right? Seagulls Social is on its last legs, right? We need some extra hosts out there. Can't just keep calling
what would I ask Robert De Zerbi? That's a good question. What would I ask him? I would ask him.
And you've got to think about everyone else in the room, because they'll probably ask something generic. So you've got to think outside.
I'd ask him and say,
your question, you're done.
Why didn't we sign Ezequiel Barco from Boca Juniors? I'd ask him that.
And what do you think he'll say?
He would probably say,
I don't know.
Man City showed it. Actually, no, I suppose Man City came in for interest, didn't they? And then that probably changed his mind. He's probably going to go there in January, isn't he, at the end of the day? Which is a shame. But if you do play Football Manager, if you've got the new one, you can pick him up for a cool 9 million on as a release clause of Football Manager. So yeah, there's a fun tip for you. What would I ask him legitimately? Is that what
you told Zerbi?
Well, yeah, do you play Football Manager? Oh, that's actually probably what I'd ask. Yeah, do you play Football Manager? But he doesn't.
No,
he just goes to the gym.
No, you wouldn't. Oh my God.
He loves the gym.
Didn't you ask one of our interviews once, what's your favourite meal deal or something? And that to this day remains one of the worst things I think you've ever said on the pod.
Who was that?
I think it was Anthony
Knockaert
or something.
No, I
think it was Knockaert. And as soon as you said it, I wanted to curl up in a ball. No, I don't think he wasn't. It wasn't an English person, because they were like, "Don't know."
Asking Anthony Knockaert.
I'm pretty sure it was Knockaert. You know, mate, it will never leave me. When he said that, I remember just watching it back, thinking, "Why in God's name did you say that?" Like,
I think it would have been one of the Instagram questions that we got, though. To be fair, I don't think I would have just randomly said it.
I mean, well, I hope so, mate.
Yeah,
I don't think so, to be fair, but I just remember that question coming up. I think it was Knockaert, and I just thought. I mean, to be fair, I did literally say to him that I used to rep him on Twitter, so maybe that was just as bad.
What do you reckon? Yeah, that's bloody hell. What do you reckon? What meal deal do you reckon Robert De Zerbi has?
I don't think he's ever had a meal deal in his life. I mean, I have a meal deal sitting outside the training ground every day. I'll probably have one today. But I
reckon he's a hoisin duck wrap kind of guy. I think he'd have one of them, and then he'd probably get a naked drink just so he can get a bit of bang for his buck. Because they are expensive.
You're just naming my one.
Oh really? Yeah. And then would he get crisps, or would he get like a little snack? I reckon he'd get a pepperoni or pepperoni.
Chili crisps every time.
Nah, salt and vinegar McCoy's
chili crisps
slap different. Or tangy cheese Doritos.
Why are we having this conversation?
Gosh.
Mate, we've just beaten Ajax in the Europa League. Right?
I know.
We've just beaten
Sorry.
Ajax in the Europa League. It's a momentous day for the football club. This is the biggest result in the club's history at the highest level that we've ever been at ever in our lives, right? And we're talking about meal deals. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm saying. This is why I was trying to really get some energy into Ben. I thought I could be the person to change this man this morning, but it seems as though I've faced the impossible task. However, you haven't thrown up so far, which is a result.
I did before the pod, didn't I? Oh god.
Oh my god. Right, if you're listening, right, we're going to wrap up this. But if you're listening to this, comment below. I want to hear some Ben analysis. I want to hear the hangover analysis. I want to hear some real reviews on this podcast because it'd be very, very interesting.
Oh my God.
There's probably a lot that we've missed and we'll end up mentioning. Maybe even
so
tomorrow
sorry.
or maybe even later today, and we'll just film another one when Ben's a little bit more alive. We'll upload this first, and then we might even just do another episode
Do we have
pre-Fulham
to?
because I think it's very, very needed. I might just do it on my own, Ben, if that's all right with you. I'll just sit on my laptop after this and then just do another little quick episode. But yes, I think it's worth noting. Look, it's a game where we needed to win. We did win, and it's a must win off the box that we can finally say we beat a team that is worse than us. Don't get me wrong, but we don't normally cope with that. So Brighton maybe have changed the corner. You could argue. I would probably be on the fence a little bit with that because obviously going into Fulham, it's another team that, again, we need to win in the league. We're in bad form. And you know, it's a Brighton side that historically we struggle with these sort of moments. But I think hopefully this is the point where we've turned that corner. I don't know about you, Ben, but looking at that 11, it gives me a lot more confidence now, seeing those sort of partnerships forming, as we've said, as Maz said as well. A bit of consistency, try and keep the similar 11. I know it's not that easy with the amount of games that we've got, but we just need to try and find ourselves this season, because I think as soon as we do, come January, come the end of the season, we're going to be in a very different spot. Qualify to the latter rounds of the Europa League, and you know the players are naturally just going to grow and mature with the squad.
Yeah. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I know, again, on paper, beating Ajax 2-0 was incredible. What an achievement. But also, they were terrible. So I'm not getting ahead of myself. I think like if we beat Fulham convincingly, then I'll be happy and thinking, yeah, we're coming out of the bad form that we're in. I know we played a lot of tough teams recently, so it's quite harsh saying it. saying it as bad form. But again, yeah, beating Fulham on Sunday will be a good mark for turning the page on this weird run that we've been on. Like you said, even the club and the players have been saying it's been a weird run. They don't know what to put their fingers on it. We know why we've had this issue. A mixture of tough teams and also changing the team too much of our players. Lewis Dunk can't really say that, can he? So he's not going to admit that and come out against De Zerbi's selections. But maybe inside he knows that's why. Probably does. But yeah, what was your question?
Just about the team maturing, growing with the squad. I mean, naturally, this is how I look at it. It's 9 months of our lives, isn't it? Every single season. It's a whole 9 months. People change a lot in 9 months. And I think that when you've got a team as young as we've got, in a new sort of territory that we've never been in, very, very, very inexperienced, the more and more games that we play in the Europa League, them 3 games a week, it's only going to be something that they're going to pick up and get better at doing.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Agree.
On that bombshell, I think this podcast run its course. If this was an interview and I was interviewing you for a job, I think this wouldn't have lasted the 40 minutes we've managed to get it to. But thank you. No, it's been entertaining, mate. Thank you for giving me some entertainment this morning.
I hope it has for the listeners.
I've enjoyed watching your struggle across the other side of this. I've got to jet off now, but I'll see you very soon before the Fulham game. Are you going to be there? Will I see you there, or are you working? I think you might be working on Sunday.
I'm not working and I'm not going. Yeah.
Plastic.
I have plans.
Comments. Ben's a plastic.
I have plans.
Oh, do you? What's the plan?
Busy. Just busy.
Enjoy your time, mate, whatever you're doing. I'll see you then after Fulham. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure you follow the Seagulls Social socials. Comments below. Anything to do with Ben's awful form here. We need to see better from him. We need a bit of a review on it. Like it's a Spotify, but one that's a YouTube comment. Make sure you do all that. And all joking aside,
I was so close to not turning up,
yeah.
so cut me some slack. I was very close to when.
I'll cut you. I'm cutting you as much slack as you've been due. Don't you worry about it. So
when I said I'm setting up, I was so close to following up the message saying I can't do this, but we are here and we've done it for somehow 45 minutes.
You can always
cheers,
do
Ryan,
this
for carrying this podcast.
It's okay. No problem, mate. It's just
actually, in the comments say
just a little bit more emphasised.
Give Ryan some love in the comments saying thanks for carrying Ben.
Oh well, that'll do. It's from Ryan, some love. Do you hear that, guys? That's nice, isn't it? Right, till then.
Had to say love.
Cheers. Goodbye.
Yeah. Bye.